What's up, Fan Nation? Welcome to the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world show made for the fans by a fan. I'm your host, Richard Tiemann, and this is the award-winning fan show. And this is LEIA. This is the newest addition to the fan show family. Isn't she adorable? She's adorable, right? She's so cute. And sidebar, if I may, little one right here. She's competing to be America's favorite pet. There's 3 days left of voting. You can vote daily and go to americasfavoritepet.com. And there's links on the Fan Show Facebook page, on our Twitter feed. And if you're friends with me, there's all kinds of links everywhere. But make sure that you go and you vote for the cuteness. Look at them. Say that I want your vote. I want your vote. But that's one of the new things that has happened and since we last spoke. I'm sorry it's been so long. I really have missed you. I've missed you in this format. Chances are, if you follow the fan show, which hopefully you do on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and you've subscribed to the YouTube channel, you know that I've been very, very busy. Been a very busy boy. I host a new BattleBots post show called Red Square, Blue Square. And that has been going incredibly well. Very happy about it. I love being able to talk with my BattleBots fam. And this season of BattleBots has been very well done. Very exciting. A lot of fun. New episodes on Discovery every Thursday at 8, 7 Central. Little plug there. And also, the biggest news, I think, since we last spoke is that I am the media specialist for the Omaha Beef of the Champions Indoor Football League. You may notice the little ball with the plug right there, CIF, Champions Indoor Football. And as a result, I host not one, but two shows for the team. One called The Corral, which features the coaching staff, the front office, the, dance team director, and much, much more. And then The Butcher Block features a member of the offense and defense where we get to know the players of the 2021 Omaha Beef. We've also crowned a new Super Bowl champion. I mean, Tom Brady's pretty much used to it by now. This was his 7th Super Bowl title out of the 10 that he's attempted. That's pretty good percentage, 70% right there. Wow. But what I mean is the Buccaneers, not the Patriots, the Buccaneers are the champions of the football world. They beat last year's champion, the actual defending champions. They were looking to repeat, the Kansas City Chiefs. Nobody has repeated. Nobody's gone back to back since Brady did it with the Patriots. So I think when the Chiefs are just like, we could do that, Brady's like, no, you can't. Nope. This is my world in the Super Bowl. Matt Stafford is a Ram and Jared Goff is a Lion. And Deshaun Watson really doesn't want to be a Texan anymore. So those are some things that we have that have happened since we last spoke. So getting all caught up, trying to think if there was anything else. 2020 is over and done with. I know there's a new president now. There's a new outlook. I mean, you can't help but try to be at least a little positive going into a new year. Even if you don't believe in the new year, new me stuff, it's that when you've hit rock bottom and you've had everything canceled and postponed like you did in 2020, you can only go up from there. So there's a vaccine out. Things are starting to reopen. Things are kind of getting back to normal. I mean, props to the NFL. Holy crap. The NFL did it. There was games on every day of the week at one point, but they did it, man. They completed a whole season without having to cancel or postpone more than just a game or two. They didn't even cancel any games. They just rescheduled and pushed back the Ravens and the Steelers. And the Steelers again, not the Broncos though. Broncos, they said, no, you guys can play. You're good. You need no quarterback? No, none of them? Nah, you're good. You can play. But seriously, props to the NFL for getting it done. Like, wow, I know. Props to the NFL. She's excited about that. Russell Wilson was the Walter Payton Man of the Year winner. Well-deserved. Aaron Rodgers was your MVP. She's biting my suit jacket right now. Why are you biting? Anyway, LEIA says hello and to vote for her once again. And as far as catching up from where we left off, let's go ahead and check in with the fat bearded vinyl guy. So Matt, what are you spinning today?
Hey Fan Nation, I am Matt the Fat Bearded Vinyl Guy, and I am hanging out in my vinyl lair. Today I'm spinning Metallica's S&M 2, the sequel to Metallica's live album with the San Francisco Symphony in 1999. This live performance was recorded and filmed in September 2019. The film was released in theaters in October of 2019 and became the highest grossing rock cinema event ever. The album and Blu-ray releases of this event came out in August of 2020 and topped several of Billboard's secondary charts. S&M 2 peaked at number 4 on the Billboard 200 album chart, but hit number 1 on the rock albums chart, the hard rock albums chart, and even the classical albums chart. The original S&M is one of my favorite live albums. Being a former music major, I can appreciate the symphonic elements added to some of Metallica's greatest hits. I salute the band and the symphony for taking on something like this multiple times. I know that the classical music crowd can be a little uppity and look down on metalheads as having inferior music, but Metallica proved that their songs can hang with classical elements. That is a testament to how good their songwriting is. A couple of highlights I like on this album. First, the performance of the Cliff Burton bass solo Anesthesia Pulling Teeth from Kill 'Em All by bassist Scott Pingle. He played that on a double bass. The performance is phenomenal and worth checking out. The second is the performance of Unforgiven 3, where James Hetfield sings with just the symphony, also worth checking out. I would have liked it if the setlist was a little bit different than the first S&M. About half the songs played were on the first one. I'd prefer a bit of a shake-up. Still play the heavy hitters like Enter Sandman, For Whom the Bell Tolls, but that's not up to me. That's all for now. For more music talk and vinyl shenanigans, go to fatbeardedvinylguy.com. I have links to my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Don't forget to like, share, and comment.
All right, thanks, Matt. I love your spins. I really do. Make sure that you go and give him a like on Facebook, Fat Bearded Vinyl Guy, and subscribe to his YouTube channel. Yes, LEIA has bounced out. She's like, peace, I'm out. I've had enough of the show. But go vote for her, americasfavoritepet.com. So I think that really about sums up everything that's happened since we last spoke. The world of indoor football lost a beloved member. John Pettit passed away over the Christmas break due to COVID complications, and he will be sorely missed. We talked about that on one of the episodes of The Corral with the Omaha Beef, but just want to take one more moment to acknowledge just how important that man was. He kept in contact with me, checked in to see how I was doing, but you just don't have the indoor football product that you have today without John Pettit of the Iowa Barnstormers. So we're very sad for the loss of John, but we want to send our thoughts and prayers to his family and to the Barnstormer organization as we get closer and closer to a new indoor football league season. If you're looking for a team, the Omaha Beef is ready and available. I'm kind of part of it, so there's that. But other than that, I think we're good. The Weeknd performed at Super Bowl halftime. I am not a fan, but I'm not somebody who doesn't like his music. I think Blinding Lights is actually very catchy. I'd really like to see the Foo Fighters perform at halftime. And if we can have Miley Cyrus perform at the TikTok tailgate, I don't think Foo Fighters at halftime is too much to ask for. Any band that knows how to truly perform in a stadium of fans. Let's get Metallica there. I don't know, but those are just some suggestions. Anyway, we're back to our regularly scheduled programming now, and this first guest is a great one, good friend of mine, fellow Full Sail alum, but not that that matters. He is Steve Potter, and remember, all of the guests here on the Fan Show are all-stars. And so our special guest interview segments are brought to you by All Star Bass Fishing. Go and check them out, allstarbassfishing.com. They are changing the professional bass fishing game, and Bobby Brown has done a phenomenal job with its growth and development over the past several years. So go and check them out. If you're a fisherman or outdoorsman at all, it's really something that you should look into. But no matter what, whether it's professionally or recreationally, if you go fishing, make it an all-star weekend. All right, here we go with today's guest, Steve Potter from Cooper Street Productions. Enjoy. All right, Fan Nation, like I said, it is good to be back. And again, sorry for the hiatus. It went a little longer than I expected, but crazy times, am I right? It's a new year, a new outlook, and new guest. You've heard him before, but this is the first time you will actually see him on the Fan Show. He's a good friend of mine and fellow Full Sail alum, Steve Potter. Welcome back, Steve. How are you?
Good, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You know, with all the craziness that was 2020, and I'm sure there was more bad news than what we could deal with, I like to try to bring a little bit of good news. And of course, I say you're a Full Sail alum because it's a point of pride with us, but you're also a man who does so much in the world of videography. You're wearing the shirt for Cooper Street. So go ahead and give us some good news, man. What's new in your world?
So, yeah, we just completed our first feature film about the Alliance of American Football. Last time we talked, I was probably like 2 months into making it, so there wasn't really much to talk about. But yeah, we just finished up. We went in a couple film festivals, and now we have the film in the market, which is pretty exciting. And then, yeah, just plugging away, man. It's going pretty well. It's exciting.
Yeah, I saw the trailer, gave me chills. Of
Yeah,
course.
did you like it?
You know, I did like it. I share the crap out of that thing, and it still gives me like goosebumps every time I watch it. And I've watched it probably, 2 dozen times. The thing about it is I've always referred to myself as an eternal optimist. So obviously I went like probably all in on the AAF, all in on the XFL, but being someone who covers the sport of football at the level of arena and indoor, you have, a spot in your heart for these guys that are really giving it their all to try to get that second chance, or maybe even that first chance altogether to get to that next level, be it CFL, NFL. And so you want these leagues to work because you know that it creates a new opportunity for these guys that fell just a little short. But the AAF, man, what a story. You worked kind of you were associated with one of the teams doing some videography, and now you're going to do this documentary, and you have to kind of expand your reach, send some emails, make some phone calls. Like, walk me through, one of your days and give me a taste of what that was like going into this journey and saying, I'm going to make a documentary out of it.
Yeah, so I was living in the Orlando area at the time, and I had some friends of mine who were actually playing for the Orlando Apollos. So they they kind of brought me around the area to meet some of the people as kind of shit was starting to hit the fan. And it was really cool because I got that first insider look to see what was happening in this league. And then, once I knew a lot of the Orlando people, I wanted to kind of branch out a little bit and talk to people from other teams because obviously everybody has different experiences. So I got in touch with some people in Atlanta and Birmingham and some of the other 8 cities, and really just they were all awesome. And they just kind of opened up their hearts and told these stories, that stuff that you wouldn't even believe, the way that these guys were treated as employees and as football players and staff members. It's really sad. A lot of these people that I interviewed, one of them was actually living in Washington, and he packed him, his wife, and his newborn, and they moved to Atlanta to work for the Atlanta team. And they bought a house, 30-year mortgage, the whole 9 yards. They thought they were going to be there for a while. And he was out of a job within, 4 months. And it's like, that's the stuff that it's so much bigger than football at that point. It's just, you're messing with people's lives, and it's pretty sad, honestly.
I can really relate to that because, as I'm sure you've been following along, I uprooted my life and relocated my family. Granted, we don't have a human child, we have pets, but still lived in Spokane for 33 years of my life. And now we just, with 6 weeks notice, go from Spokane, Washington, 1,800 miles to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I expected to be here for at least 1 to 3 is what they told me. And then COVID hit and poof, gone. So completely different circumstances, but I feel that. I really do. So a heartbreaking story for sure. And one of, I'm guessing, many heartbreaking stories. Like, how hard was it to not get fired up while you're doing these interviews and this research, finding out more and more about the league?
It was hard, man. Because again, like I said, I was pretty close with some of the players, and specifically for those guys, they were the ones that didn't get what they were promised. The staff members got their paychecks for the most part and whatnot, but a lot of these guys, the players were some of them were relatively broke at the time, and they were trying to find a job between the NFL and figure out, do I start my adult life or do I keep chasing the dream? And when a lot of these guys just were promised $250,000 contract and your life was going to be okay and we're going to take care of you, you can go back to college, the whole 9 yards, and they just got left to the side, it's like, it's just wrong. It's like inhumane. You know what I mean? You can't, no matter what you do, you can't promise someone something, and not just someone. It's, thousands of people, and then just kick them to the side of the curb because you didn't do, or whoever's in the front office didn't vet their business the right way. It's pretty sad.
Which is an excellent segue into my next question about this whole thing, because I'm watching them kind of roll out what the AAF is going to be, and it seems like they've got some names in right places that you would expect to see. I mean, Hines Ward was their spokesperson, and he's well respected and well known in the world of professional football. And they had their draft, and they're doing all these things that it looks like they're doing it right. But football is a game of momentum and turning points. Was there a point throughout this, and maybe it's in the film, where you can see that's where it all started to go wrong?
Yeah, I think everybody, this was the biggest scandal I think the league had, was when they missed payroll week one. They just didn't, no money went to the players. It was just totally dry, and no one really knew why. So I think that was when a lot of the players and staff members were like, whoa, hold on, let's pump the brakes, take a step back. You're saying you have all this money in the bank and you can't afford salaries week one. And then they try to play it off as a payroll glitch. Well, usually, again, a company of that caliber should not have payroll glitches. Like, that's not, again, it's just, there were so many red flags, but I think that was the big turning point, that they just didn't have the money start after the first week to pay their athletes. Cause that, and then luckily Charlie kind of partnered with Tom Dundon, who gave him, another bundle of cash to just make it through. And it's just, again, it was just running week to week, paycheck to paycheck. It was really interesting to kind of hear the people that were involved, hear their stories, and see what they really went through. It's crazy.
So you and your other half on this project, Cole Fewin, decide to embark on this journey. I mean, what kind of kickback did you get? Was there at any point that you guys felt nervous about trying to finish this film and make it happen?
It's a lot to just make a film. I mean, especially when you don't have a budget. The budget was coming out of like my personal pocket and some family members that helped me, make this thing come into fruition. And it was really difficult. I mean, especially when we were traveling, it was like, like swiping my card for gas, and everything just kept ringing up: hotel rooms, gas, studio rentals. It was a very nerve-wracking, thinking that I just don't have the funds to complete the project. But everybody that we interviewed was so willing to help out, whether it was, hey, we'll meet you halfway, you don't have to come all the way to us, or hey, whatever you need, we can help you guys out too. So, which was really cool, because people wanted to tell their stories. And I think the big thing with this is people wanted their stories to be told the right way, and not some, local news story where they would not embellish it, but change it or make it not as harsh as it really was. So I think a lot of people kind of really just wanted their stories to get out there, and they were kind enough to trust myself and Cole and, the other guys that helped out to bring it to life.
And that's great on you guys for doing that, because us in the media, that's really all we can do, is just provide a platform to whatever degree that is, to help people tell and share their stories. So props to you guys for doing that, for seeing it through. It sounds like there could have been some dangerous waters at times, because this is one of those things that I'm sure everybody involved kind of wanted to put behind them as quickly as possible. But yeah, I'm stoked to see it. I've heard from Cole that, you guys have taken it to a festival, and although it didn't win any awards, it's received some great feedback, some reviews, and now you guys are shopping it around. What's the next step for this documentary?
So we think the next step is, finding the right network that that believes in the project and trusts the film, and, wants to keep the story as truthful and as honest as possible. Because a lot of times, I guess some of these networks want to change it so they see it to fit their platform, which I totally understand. But there's certain things that, you just don't want to do, because you don't want to hurt the people that were actually involved in this on the day to day. You know what I mean? So I think it's just really jumping around those hoops that we're trying to figure out now. And hopefully the next step is for everybody in the world to see it, and really take a step before someone else starts another football league and say, hey, I need to get these things in order, so this way this doesn't happen to these people that were involved.
Yeah, you guys did a private showing of the premiere to a small group of friends and family. You invited me. I appreciate the invite. I wish I could have made it. All circumstances, if they had been any different, probably could have made that happen. But congratulations on that. Again, I heard it was great, and I cannot wait to see this. It is Alliances Broken, a documentary about the defunct Alliance of American Football League. Wow, there's so much to this story in such a short amount of time. But I hear you've got some other projects on the horizon. What else is Steve Potter up to these days?
Yeah, so coming out hopefully soon, we're working on a podcast to basically shed some light on the film, talking to people that were in the film about the process of being in a movie, especially because nobody really has ever been in a film before. We're kind of talking about how we made the project on limited resources, and again, interviewing some people that were in it, some people that weren't in it that still want to get their story out there, but unfortunately, you can't fit 1,200 people in a movie or a documentary that's 90 minutes long. So hopefully this podcast that we're going to do, it's called Coffee on Cooper Street. Basically, hopefully it will give other people who didn't get to share their story in the movie, it'll give them a chance to do it and, still have their story told.
That's a great project to have. I think you guys with Cooper Street are really onto something here. And I love that you guys are pursuing the avenues that you are, giving people a platform and a chance to share their stories. Like I said, us here in the media, at the end of the day, that's all that we can really do is just help people however we can. So, man, this is awesome. Like, I'm really excited. I couldn't be more excited for the film. But now you guys are going to do a podcast and all that stuff. Is there anything else, any other good news or announcements that you can tease or share at this time?
Nothing crazy. I mean, we're really now just trying to figure out what projects we want to take on next. That's, I guess, the next best move. It's really it, man. Just hoping to find another great story in sports and, tell it in a cool way, I guess.
Well, hopefully the XFL under the new ownership, which happens to have a name some of you may have heard of, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Again, eternal optimist. Okay. But seriously, I have some close friends in this league. They really loved being a part of it. They were sad when it had to, cease its operations. This one due to COVID, not to underlying circumstances. So hopefully the next documentary you guys do is about the promising comeback story that is the XFL. So there's an idea for you guys.
I like that. I do like that. Hopefully we can get with Dwayne Johnson. I mean, I think that might be a little bit difficult, but that would be pretty neat.
While we're at it, I think if we're going to do this, we should probably have the guy that's in charge. So if The Rock's available, let's go ahead and do that.
That's right. Exactly.
Good for you, man. Tell Cole I said hello. And again, congrats on everything. It was great for you to stop by on a new episode of the Fan Show. So once again, folks, he's Steve Potter, fellow Full Sail alum. He's with Cooper Street Films and Coffee on Cooper Street, a new podcast coming at you. But most importantly, watch for Alliances Broken, the documentary that takes you behind the scenes of the tragic story that was the short-lived Alliance of American Football. So Steve, thank you so much for your time, man. It's been a real treat.
Dude, seriously, thank you again so much, man. Have a good one. Thanks, guys.
All right, Fan Nation, thanks again for tuning in. I'm glad we were able to get caught up. I've missed you guys. These are going to probably be shorter episodes than what you're used to, more focused on the actual interview than anything else that's really going on. But that's just for my own sanity's sake, to make sure that I'm not spreading myself too thin and that I've taken care of all the other stuff that I'm obligated to take care of. But we are back. We will have new episodes. I thank you for your patience and love that you guys continue to like, share, and subscribe. So remember, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, The Fan Show, or at Fan Show Official. So until next time, best of luck to you and yours. Go Niners, and it's all fun and games until you butt fumble. Good night, folks.
Do you remember the time that Mark Sanchez ran into his own player's butt? That was funny sports.
Thank you for having me on the show, man. I love the Fan Show.